Today I want to introduce you to some beautiful papers here. This is the Pumpkin Spice Dreams bundle set, or at least the papers. I haven't even got into all the other materials that come with this bundle, but this is from Michelle Reese Designs, and I want to thank her so much for introducing me to her beautiful Etsy shop, all her digitals on there. She gave me this set that I'm going to be using today in the junk journal that I'm making, and I have only printed out so far a fraction of what is in this set. Look at these beautiful apples, the pumpkins, the writing papers here, and then just all the beautiful sets. This is perfect for fall, and I can't wait to jump into this as I'm working on my new journal that I'm going to be putting together on this video. So to get things started, I have already set up the cover for my journal, at least the initial part where I've covered everything with black paper, and it is over there drying. I'm going to include in the link below the video where I show how I do this, but now it's going to be time to get into these cute, adorable papers and start setting up my signatures. I encourage you, I've got the link below that I'm going to have for Michelle's materials on Etsy. Please go check her out. And this is just one of the sets that she has, and she's also given me some other things, so I'm going to be sharing those in upcoming videos. But this is what we're going to be using today, and so let's get started. I have gone through, and these are 8 by 10 or 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, and I've gone through and trimmed these on the side, and so now I have printed these double-sided, and now it's time to fold these in half so we can get ready to get our signatures. For my book today, I'm planning to have 3 signatures, and I'm mainly using these beautiful papers from this set. So what I've got to go through now and do is take each of the papers, and I'm just basically folding them in half so we will be able to set them up as our signatures. And so I'm going to go through and do that. I think you probably are familiar with that. One thing with these designs, see how it has the 2 pictures on each side, and that is just perfectly set up for our pages for our journal. So I'm going to go through and do some folding now, and I will come back with you and show you what I've got for my journal. So I have all of these that I've got for my journal set out, and what I'm going to do, since I've told you that I have 3 signatures that I'm going to set up, and if you're new to junk journaling, signatures are just the different sections of a book. And so I'm going to have 3 main sections, and I have chosen, I love these little apples. That's going to be an opening page for that signature. The beautiful candles here with all the leaves, and then look at this butterfly. Is that not gorgeous? So I've set up the 3 main ones that I have, and then I take all the remainder sheets that I have, and I'm going to kind of set them within the signatures, and we can change. And with the way that I'm going to bind my book, and I haven't even told you about that, I've got even more flexibility. Now, one thing that's in this set is a lot of architectural pieces, fronts of houses and homes, just this beautiful fall foliage outside. These kind of go along together, so I'm going to separate those up into the 3 different ones. Here's a beautiful bird picture. I'm going to make that different from the butterfly picture. And we have another beautiful lantern. I'm going to put that in here. More candles. Oh, I just love these. And okay, here's another house. And let's see what else we've got. An inside of a house. That's a beautiful print. And don't forget, I've also got these insides that I have printed out. And so I am just placing these in their spots. Now, I think I had counted up 14. So there's not going to be an even split amongst the 3, but what I'm planning is she has a folio that we are going to put together, and I'm going to add that in here, plus some other little envelopes and things. And now let me tell you my plan for binding my journal. There are so many different ways that we can bind our junk journals. And today I'm going to use a method that is very popular with traveler's journals. And that is that I'm going to be using this round elastic cord. It comes in white, black, I'm sure other colors, but I've got some black that I'm going to use today because I thought that would go really well with these fall colors. With the beauty of a traveler's journal is you're using this elastic, and then we will be opening up and sliding this into elastic. It's easy to add things and remove things from your journal using this elastic cord, and I'm going to be able to show you that as I'm getting my cover ready. And so I'm going to go grab that and see if it's ready for us to begin working on that. I have my cover ready. I have lined it in black cardstock, and I wanted to share with you the pieces that I'm going to use on the front cover and back cover and also the inside. So what I have chosen is I'm going to go with these pieces here for the front. I love this checkerboard almost design and the leaves and everything. I'm also going to be eventually adding some other things probably to the front. This is going to be a series of work pieces that I'm going to have, these different videos. I'm going to end up putting this on the front. And then I love these pumpkins. And so this was one sheet of paper. I think it went right there. Split it in half. And I'm going to place that here on my inside cover. Is that not gorgeous? I love it against the black. And then, like I said, for the front cover, we're going to do something like this. I think I'm going to save my front cover pieces for now, but I'm going to go ahead and place these inside covers so we can cover up this cardboard right here. Now, if you'll also notice, I put a black piece of paper down the middle of the spine here. It was just the regular cardboard, but we're going to need that to be covered, not only for looks, but also when we get ready to do our inside elastic. So I'm going to go ahead and put some tape on the back of this, and I'm going to place this down on my inside covers. I've placed my two-sided tear tape on the back of this that I'm going to take off and put on here. I also wanted to point out that I rounded each of these corners. And, you know, my total size of this book that we're using is 6 inches by 8.5 inches. And that works well for our signatures. It will fit right inside of that. And so that's the size that I went with here. As I cut this off, I believe this is, let's see, 5 1/4 by 8 inches. And so that's going to fit nicely. Here we have the bend of the spine. And I'm going to put this paper down here, but who knows? We might be adding some pockets and things along the way. But let me take this cover off of the tape and we'll be ready to place this down. I've got that off. And making sure we're working on the correct side. I also took my bone folder and just very lightly went along this seam and did the folding, making sure that everything folds up nicely. And now we kind of want to place this in the middle. I'm not doing a lot of measurement, but just where it looks good, right? And place that right here, and we'll take our bone folder and really burnish all this down. That looks so nice. I'm going to do the same thing for the back. And now the back's ready. I also wanted to mention I printed these and also the pieces that I'm going to use on the cover on white cardstock. And usually for my signatures, I'm going to print the pages out in copy paper and then add some other pieces to those as well. And I'll probably be printing out some of the fussy cutting and tags and things in cardstock. But there we go with that. Nice. Isn't it something when, you know, choosing the papers that I was going to use on the front cover, inside cover, it's just when you have so many beautiful options. And I love these pumpkins. I love them. I'm so glad I was able to use them here. But then we'll have this, and we're going to add things, like I said. We'll get to that, whether it's this video or in the upcoming ones. Since my spine is a 1.5 inch spine, we're going to place our elastic with the 3 signatures every 3/8 of an inch. So you can think of that as the middle point at 1.5 is going to be at 3/4 of an inch. Let's see, we'll put, so we have that half mark at 3/4 of an inch. We'll put the first one at 3/8 of an inch and the middle one, and then the third one at 1 1/8. The other thing that I'm thinking about with the Traveler's Journal, sliding that in, and this being the copy paper, I really don't want the elastic, like if I have my paper that fits here, I don't really want my elastic based here and then go around, because it's going to kind of pull on that bottom part of the paper. So if you can tell, the papers are about 8 inches tall, the longest ones that I have, that I'm using. So right at the edge of where the piece that I added to the spine, right above it or below it, I think that's where I'm going to place my holes for my elastic to go through. So let's mark those up. I'm going to start here on the bottom and at 1.5. Okay, so let me go down just a little bit because I want to mark below the paper. First one at 3/4 of an inch. And then we've got, so a piece at 3/8 and 1 1/8. So my 3 holes should be right here, and that's where we're going to run our elastic. Now let's flip it over and mark the same thing at the top, 1.5. So at 3/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch is my first one, and 1 1/8 right here. So we'll run the elastic after I get these holes done. Since I am having to cut through or punch a hole through the chipboard, I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile, and I'm going to use the smaller circle for this because we are really kind of close, and I'm also going to punch because it is so close to the edge of the book. I don't want that hole to go through. So I'm going to start right here and kind of go between the paper I added and that. There we go. This is so nice and easy to do the holes with your Crop-A-Dile. Once you can get this paper out, I may have to get my little tool my tool being my scissors, to get that hole everything cleared out so I can see where I'm punching right in the middle. And we've got the second hole not quite straight, but that's okay. No one will ever know. Only the ones that are watching here. And once we add the elastic, we should be good to go. There are the 3 holes on the bottom. Now I'm going to do the same thing up here at the top. So here are those holes punched out, the 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom. And if you're wondering how it looks like on the front, it looks just like that. And we're going to add the front pictures. I'm not planning to add anything right yet here. Probably going to have some kind of tassel or something attached. That's another reason I've chosen to use this black elastic, because our cording is going to run down the spine. So now let's get into the cording. Let me open this up. Now let's see how much we'll need. We want this to have a little bit of give, but also be tight enough. So if we go for 2 lengths, plus a little bit more to do our tie, I think I'm going to go with that. And to give you a dimension, it should be close to 18.5 inches, I think. So at 8.5, yep, that would be about the thing. So let's see, I'm going to end up tying on the inside. So if I want to just string this through, This fits perfectly through that little hole. This is gonna probably be one of my easiest binding techniques. Now, so I don't have a whole bunch of give here, but what's great is we can always tie this, and if we need to tie it, adjust it, we can. But I'm going to first just put a regular knotted tie, double knot. But I am pulling it somewhat. I'm not going to do any kind of trimming yet. I'm going to leave it at that. So as you can see, we're tight there. We're going to be tight here. I'm going to do the same thing with the other two holes. I don't want to jinx it, but this is turning out to be one of my easiest bonding techniques, and I'm really loving it. So I've got my 3 slots that are ready to just slide in my signatures. Let's just go with the first one that we're going to go with. We've got a lot of decorating to do in here, but this gets us set up. So I told you I had my 3 signatures. I guess the decision is which one do we put in first, and I think I'm going to go with the apples. And I have not even, when I do my signatures, I'm just going to turn out and lay these out flat. I may do some rearranging. As you can see, this first page is a writing page. We have the pie and another writing page, the little bird, another writing page, and so that's what we've got here. So it's kind of an every other page, and look how easy it's going to be. We're just going to slide this right in here, right at the center, and close that up. That is awesome. Okay, now let's go with the little butterfly next. I'm going to open that up. Look, that is a gorgeous pumpkin page. Very similar. It's a little bit different than the one that I have on the outside there. And then we've got the mushrooms with the leaves, and the inner house, or the house there with some more leaves. Here's a writing page, so I'm going to swap these out. And then we'll have another writing page as our center. Take this, I'm going to go with the second piece of elastic, and look how it just slides right in. Perfect. 2 signatures. And now for our third with the beautiful candles. Open that up to a writing page. The coffee cup with another writing page. The beautiful scenery's got a beautiful page there. Our lantern with a writing page. Our doorway with a writing page. And we're just going to slide that in right here. I love how this fits. And the best part is, if I want to change something up in terms of the order of my pages or whatnot, I can do that so easily with the elastic cording. I'm going to keep it like this, like I said, for now. I've got so many other things to add to it. This is what our book is looking like so far. We've got the 3 signatures set inside here, and so many good things that are going to come. Should we go ahead and put our covers on? Yeah, I think let's do it. So for this front cover, I have put the tape on the back just as I did on the front here. Now, it may have been better if I had done this first. It does, only because I'm laying out flat, but it works okay because of our signatures, how they are in there so easily right now. I want to place this in the middle. Here is our side of our spine. And so, make sure I've got that where I want it. And there we've got this front on. Nice. And I will add the back side on. And the back side is on. I did add a little bit of glue in addition to the tape. And that will just help that stick nice. Isn't that gorgeous? There we go. So we have a great start to this journal. Look at this with the papers alone. Isn't that gorgeous? So many cute things. Be sure and join me next week as I've got a cute folio that goes with this kit that I'm going to be adding, along with some other little tags, ephemera, and other little pieces to make this gorgeous journal. Make sure you go check out Michelle's Instagram and her Etsy page. This is called, again, the Pumpkin Spice Dreams Bundle, and I'm going to put the link to all of this below. I hope you have a great day, and if there's something special you'd like to see me add to this journal, be sure and add it in the comments below. And I will see you again on our next project.